What's up, folks? Sean, the Average Angler, coming at you with another great video. Today we've got a rod review, and this maybe the best frog rod ever made? Well, we'll find out in a few. If you're new to the channel, you like this kind of content, hit that subscribe button down there. We really appreciate you joining the community. Labor Day weekend, we're all about to get our lakes back. After this weekend, things tend to tone down. All those other people go home for the season. The rest of us can go out there and get some fishing. Cheers, my friends. The mountains are blue. All right, for those that don't know, I've been an avid frog fisherman for years. Last year we won a frog tournament on the Delta in our division. We've got 7 years in a row in the top 10. So when I say I'm an avid frog fisherman and been doing it for a long time, you can take my word for it, or you can go look up the results. Anyway, I'm a little particular about frog rods, and I'm not typically your typical frog rod guy, because for the longest time, frog rods were 7.6, 7.8, 7.9, 7.10, and that just really wasn't me. When I was younger, the hook set would hurt my shoulder with the braid, because there was no stretch, and so I always looked for something a little bit more to the medium heavy range. And typically what I found and what I used for years was an old Fenwick HMG 734 7'3" medium heavy. Worked fantastic. Still wasn't perfect because it really wasn't meant for that, but a few weeks ago I found this rod here and I bought it. It is a Shimano Expride 7'3". Is it heavy or extra heavy? I think it's extra heavy. Yep, extra heavy. Now, one thing I will say about rod ratings, every company's different. And when I picked this up and held it prior to fishing it, I kind of had those fears of we're leaning towards a little too heavy of a rod. On the upside of that, the rod's very light, felt really good in hand, and felt shorter than what it is. Typically that happens when a rod is well balanced and light. That's what I will say about that. So I strung it up with some 50-pound braid, which I'm actually testing right now. So I got 50-pound braid, Daiwa Tatula SV 8-to-1 strung up on that, and balances extremely well. Okay, there you see it. I will say one of the things that pushed me to buy it was knowing that rod price increases were coming, and I didn't realize how difficult this rod is to find. Apparently it's a unicorn, is from what I've seen in the industry. Very difficult to come by. I don't know if they make them in other models, perhaps the Zodius, because this is what I'll say about a frog rod. I don't typically spend that kind of money on a frog rod. I just don't think you need to. However, I've been searching for years since that HMG was discontinued by Fenwick, and I have yet to see another one that fit the bill as well as that rod did, until I found this one. As I mentioned, the extra heavy was a little scary to me because I thought, man, this thing gonna be too stiff, because let me tell you first of all what I'm looking for. I want something extremely accurate casting wise. I do a lot of up close pitching to targets that are very small that I need to be accurate to get my bait into. This rod afforded me every bit of that. Number two, it's got to have a good tip so you can work the frog. Now I can work it with a broomstick. I couldn't work it quite as well as I should be able to with the broomstick, but I could do it. But that wasn't the case with this rod. Quite honestly, this rod tip really reminds me of that Fenwick medium heavy that I used for years. Really good feel, soft touch. I can do whatever I want with the frog, walking wise, popping wise, all those kinds of things. And it just really fit the bill. But the biggest thing, and I want to reiterate this because I don't know how many people pay attention to this or think about it the same way I do, but you've got to be able to hit your targets. If you hit something in the process trying to hit your target, you hit the toolies as you're entering, it's no longer a surprise that you're coming in there. They know you're coming. The rod fit the bill for me. Now the nice thing about it, it's got a good front tip portion. Okay, it bends. I don't know that that's okay. That's bending way down the rod, as you guys can see there. Whatever people's ratings are is really irrelevant. What is relevant is that you find the rod that suits the purpose. Now, the other great thing about this rod, and the first thing that came to mind is, man, when I'm not throwing a frog, that thing is a phenomenal pitching rod. Okay, I'm going to be pitching to cover with this rod for certain techniques because it's so good. Now, one of the things that comes to mind really quick is a swim jig. This rod feels like a phenomenal swim jig rod to me, but also, I don't want to say flipping because it's 7.3, you're going to give up some distance on that, but pitching to cover, again, because of the accuracy, phenomenal rod. I'm really, really happy with it. Is it the best frog rod I've found in years? Yeah, it is. Is it worth the money? I don't know. I need to think about that some more. And I think every individual really is going to be the only one that can answer that question, because I think it's an individual question. What I can tell you is I would not have bought it at the new price. I got it at the original price, which was $280. Now they're $350. I don't know, maybe that part of it stuck in my head, and that's why I'm saying that, but I don't know. I liked the Expride well enough that when I walked into my local tackle shop last week and I saw some Exprides at the original price, I grabbed another one. How's that for a rod review? I've never been the biggest Shimano rod fan, but this thing's fantastic. I may have to look at some Zodius and some other rods because, yeah, it's a really, really good rod. Super light, and I think you really got to spend quite a bit more money to get in the same ballpark with any other brand, including G Loomis. Okay, if you go G Loomis, you're going to have to spend quite a bit more to get this same fit, feel, and finish. I like the look of this rod, actually much better than I like the NRX look. I just don't care for the blue. This is clean, it's pristine, it's fantastic stuff. Great guides. One thing I will say, they really kind of get you on the warranty. 1-year warranty for a rod that price. Come on, Shimano. Now, saying that, I've pretty much found that if there's a defect or problem with the rod, I'll break it pretty quick. Okay, it doesn't take me 3 years to break the rod. That's typically because something I did. If there's a fault or defect with the rod, it will show itself. So it is what it is. I wish they would offer a better warranty. They did at one time. Who knows? Maybe those days are gone. I'm Sean, the Average Angler. Thanks for watching. Let me know your favorite frog rod down in the comments. I'm always on the prowl so I can bring you guys some good, useful information. Be on the lookout for that other rod review coming up. I got to use it some. And we'll see you on the next one.